Hey, Demonic Pacts is just about 1 day away, and now that Jagex has finally revealed the early task list for General, Varlamore, and Karamja, we can finally settle the debate that we've been having in all the comments and all the videos, whether Hotfoot or Woodsman is the better Tier 2 pick. I just want to give a quick shout out before we jump into the video to all of you. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. We hit our 500 subscriber goal, and so I guess the next goal would be 750 subscribers. So thank you for your support, but let's get right into it. So if you didn't see my video already on the full Tier 2 deep dive analysis, I'm going to put a link at the top and in the description below. Please go check that out. That will go into in-depth details about Hotfoot and Woodsman and Friendly Forager. I'm not saying that Friendly Forager is the bad choice out of the three. It just depends on what your choices are and what your regions and your combinations are going to be. However, there's been this epic debate on whether Hotfoot or Woodsman is better. Now, just to go over a quick overview, Hotfoot's going to impact agility, cooking, and smithing. We get the boots for passive experience. You get automatic smithing and cooking when you're wearing the boots and 100% cooking success. Woodsman is going to benefit primarily hunting, but also give some secondary effects to fletching and firemaking. Just remember, if you have endless harvest like me, firemaking becomes AFK and automatic with woodcutting, which is kind of nice. And remember, these effects are toggleable, so you can turn them off whenever you want. In addition to that, you're going to get 2x loot from your hunter loot sacks, which is pretty nice. And you will get herb or tree seeds when catching on hunter traps. All right. So overall, pretty sweet relics, really powerful. Some people are even considering reloading back into the other one on the one that they missed. But let's get into the analysis. So now that Jagex has revealed the task list, in Chrome I have this set up, this split view. This is actually a really nice feature. Just like the main purpose I've ever found for using this. But I'm looking at the task list here of agility tasks versus hunter tasks. Now what I've done here is I've selected specifically the ones that I think benefit the most from the relic choices, right? So everyone at Tier 1 can just jump across the Yama stepping stones that Jagex have added in the new starting area, doing this 666 times. This is not gated or benefited by the relics, and so I haven't selected it because I think both sides will be able to do it. I'm mostly highlighting the ones that I think are overall more powerful or easier to accomplish with either the relic, with Hotfoot being on the left and Woodsman being on the right. So Hotfoot is going to give you a lot of that agility benefits, and so you're going to be able to train it faster and get the passive experience, which allows you to get to the higher levels of agility. I think if you do the stepping stones here and then you keep training, you might end up close to this. So I kind of like, maybe you can't get to 32 agility if you're not going Woodsman, and maybe we give it to this one, so we can give it a third task here. But doing this one, equipping an orange, and doing 10 laps of this, all three of these will just be faster and easier if you do have the Hotfoot relic. Now on the flip side, Varlamore is a hunter-heavy region. We have the Hunters Guild and then all the hunter contracts and rumors there. And so we are going to have a lot more hunting tasks in general in both Varlamore and in general. And so I think overall you can see here that there's 3 versus 3, but we also have another 3 additional ones here doing the hunter tasks. And given how fast the hunter training will be, remember, you're going to get 2x loot, and you're going to have a faster chance to attract the monsters, which is effectively maybe like a 3x or 4x multiplier in addition to the base league multiplier that you have. And so these will be a lot faster to level up. Completing these rumors will be a lot faster and easier, and you'll get twice as many rewards along the way. Again, like I said, some of these lower level ones like catching a butterfly, baby implink, even if you go Hotfoot, you'll be able to do this relatively easily with a little effort. And so I'm not kind of selecting those. I'm also not selecting this 500 Chinchompa task or any of these 99 tasks as well, or the Dragon Impling one. I just don't think these are reasonable to kind of select early on and expect for anyone to kind of accomplish this day one. That to say, it's not that hard to catch 500 Chinchompas with this relic. I'm just not expecting most people to kind of rush this first. It is 200 points, however. This is effectively like, 6 to 7 times any of these other tasks. So going for this is probably a pretty good play. It just depends on how crowded it is as well. Even if you have this relic, depending on the crowds, this just may be a little bit difficult. So again, I think there's still more overall hunter tasks to complete here versus agility. Like I said in all my videos, I think Hotfoot is the longer term play. The Woodsman is definitely going to be the shorter term for hunter. Moving on. I want to compare cooking to firemaking. They're both kind of AFK skills and secondary skills that have about a similar kind of task list. They're a little bit weird, so I want to call out a few things here. Making 100 pies, and this starts at level 10 cooking. Anyone can make pies early on. I think this and the 25 meat pies that you would make would just be a part of those, I think, 100 pies. Like just, get some beef and throw it in there and make those pies. I think this aspect of the league anyone can do. You don't really need the cooking relic. It does benefit that you have 100% success and no burn chance. That said, I think this is not blocking. There is a task, by the way, to burn your food. So you will want to kind of just cook meat and then cook it again to burn it if you do go Hotfoot. But overall, I think these ones don't really benefit. I think the main ones here are like the 50 tuna. If you're fishing without, Hotfoot, you're probably not cooking all of your fish. And so this one might be a little bit annoying, but you just get 50 raw tuna and I think 100 swordfish just by AFK fishing with Endless Harvest and Hotfoot. And so I think those are pretty easy. Cooking is a relatively fast skill, so getting these like level 30s are pretty doable. So I think people are going to be able to churn some butter and then use that butter to make a potato with butter. These are relatively close. Again, if you burn, that's going to suck. So just try to make maybe 2 or 3 of these. And then again, meat pies are not blocked. And then 100 sharks. This is just like really late in the game. So if you are going to blast, it is a benefit. But remember, this is just 80 points as opposed to like the Hunter one, which is 200 points. This is a slightly higher level and it's just going to be a little bit slower AFK. That's not to say that you can't do it. It's totally possible. I'm just not going to count that towards this. And then moving on to firemaking, again, we're not going to count the high-level magic log ones. You're going to have these 99 ones, right? And I think everyone's going to be able to burn oak logs. That's pretty straightforward. It's really easy to get to your first 15 levels and do that one task, so not selecting it. So I think firemaking and cooking are pretty close. Firemaking does have this one benefit of burning 100 U-logs. You can even debate that this is maybe a little bit too high, like who's going to 60 wood cutting and firemaking, plus chopping uses really slow. If you have Endless Harvest, you get the 2x multiplier, or if you have Barbarian Gathering, you get the really fast chop rates. If you have Barbarian with this will be fast and nice. If you don't, maybe this is not viable, but I think this is much closer than we were seeing like the 100 sharks at level 80 versus just level 60 here, and so that's why I kind of selected it. It's a good viable option, and if you have some time to AFK during day one, this is like a good activity to kind of AFK do with the combination of Endless Harvest and Woodsman here. All right, moving on to smithing versus fletching. And this is the one that kind of blew my mind on just how many fletching tasks there are. Like this just keeps scrolling. And I think part of the reason why is because we have veiled totems as a mini activity here, whereas there are no mini smithing activities in Varlamore, and so we're just missing out on some of those activity-related ones. So just looking at this really quick, I think everyone's going to be able to make an iron bar, and you can spend some time mining and make a steel bar, and then you can smash that steel bar maybe into some steel bolts, doing some other smithing training. I honestly think that if you're going Woodsman, you're probably not doing any of these, maybe except for just the iron bar, because there are some tasks to like mine tin and other things. Other than that, you probably won't be doing this. If you're going Endless Harvest, you probably will mine a bunch of iron ore AFK, and then you can just make the bars, and then you can probably have some early levels to get to a steel bar. Again, it just depends on where you're doing. However, if you are going to go Hotfoot, you'll be able to easily make all the bars really quickly. Remember I said iron makes steel bars, and so you'll be able to make this steel two-hand. Getting 44 smithing won't be a problem, and then you can just keep AFK mining all the way through Mithril until you get to 53 smithing, and then just go ahead and make a bunch of myth bolts with that as well. So there's a pretty good clear task list. I think these 3 will be doable by almost anyone, regardless of which relic you pick. And then moving over to fletching. Fletching 150 iron arrows. This one, like anyone should be able to do, so maybe I just uncheck that one. I think it's pretty straightforward. Also completing the Veiled Totems mini quest is pretty straightforward. Now these are activities where like getting to 15 fletching is a little bit painful just because you have to gather all the logs and then cut them all. With Woodsman, you get to do this like a full inventory in one go. Just remember, turn off your auto burning effect so that way you do bank the logs if you're using Endless Harvest, or you put them in your inventory or in your knapsack if you're using Barbarian Gathering. So just make sure you don't burn them with Woodsman, and so you gather the wood to make these things. Pretty straightforward. I believe you can buy iron arrowheads at the shop, and so you don't need need to worry about smithing them. However, you can smith them and kind of bang out 2 tasks at once. It's really not going to be too painful to do this early on. Really low skill level requirement, which is kind of nice. I didn't select the bow spool string because this is a little bit of RNG gated. You might get lucky when you're doing Veiled Totem runs and you might just get this. However, if you're going to pick Woodsman, are you really doing Veiled Totems? Probably not. That said, it's going to be pretty straightforward and easy to do. Again, fletching an oak shortbow, anyone should be able to do. The only issue is you're going to need that bowstring. There is a task to pick up flask, and so pick up the flask, spin it into bowstrings with some crafting levels, and do that. Oak stacks, willow shortbow, like these are a little bit higher levels, and so like if you're not going into Woodsman, you're probably not doing some fletching just because you might just be banking the logs and then burning them or something else, and so like this becomes a little bit more tedious, whereas this is just one inventory, one knife click, and you process everything all at once, and that just makes it a lot easier. I think 35 fletching is also a little bit of a higher level, and so I kind of selected that here. If you want, you can deselect that, but I think that and willow is pretty straightforward for anyone to do. And so just kind of keeping that in mind. Moving on, I want to also quickly talk about the Hunter loot sack. So the agility, courses will give you 10k gold. The Hunter sacks are duped. Okay, so in these, you're going to be able to get 1,500 to 2,500 coins because you're going to get 2 of these for every Hunter contract that you do. So kind of keep that in mind. Also, the basic ones, they give logs, which is pretty nice. It just depends on your log chance and kind of your wood cutting levels, I believe. So it's pretty cool so that you can use these maple logs to do your fletching. And then if you're not going the Woodsman thing, you're probably not selecting these logs as well. And then when you get all the way up to doing the adept contracts, you're going to be able to get a lot more rewards. The coin note amount stays the same, but you will be able to get herbs. What's nice here is you can get early prayer potions with Renars. You don't have to get that. Remember, you're also getting the herb seeds and the tree seeds. I don't know what the drop rates and the chances are, by the way, on those. So maybe getting a Renar seed is pretty rare, and you might just end up with a bunch of Guam seeds or something else. Remember, also there's a task to clean Guam, but you don't get Guam here. However, you do get a Guam seed. Go ahead and plant it, harvest it. There are some early tasks for cleaning it. The main thing here I want to call out is actually the Irrit leaf here. Because the Irrit leaf has a 10 to maybe slightly higher chance, I don't think we're going to have high herblores. Getting this Irrit leaf, and if you are able to clean it with some early herblore training from maybe cleaning some of the other ones, you can get the random Jekyll and Hyde event, turn this in to get the agility potion to then go ahead and finish Taibo and I trio. This is always an early task kind of requirement once we get to Karamja to be able to unlock Karambwans. And so just kind of keep that in mind. If you do get an early Irrit leaf, just go ahead and clean it and hold on to it. We're all going to be able to get Irrit leaves pretty early because of Perilous Moons. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But I think this is a little bit of a nice perk about picking Hunter. You don't get fixed on just the 10k coins. You get significantly less coins, but you do get other resources, which is valuable. Quetzal feed, again, can also be used to make a landing site, which is also a task. So overall, I'm thinking that Woodsman is going to be definitely the better play for the early and mid game. Jagex just didn't reveal as many tasks for agility early on. I thought maybe they would do a couple more for the worm agility course, maybe for the easy one and the hard one, but they didn't, and that's okay. And so I think Woodsman is definitely going to be the early play. And definitely if you are going to go for the long and max points and everything, Hotfoot, because you're able to complete those agility courses, is just going to be better for maxing and getting 50 mil in agility. That said, if you are picking Mauritania and you are you enjoy doing Sepulcher and you're skilled at it, I would probably actually stay away from Hotfoot as well because of that. Because in that case, Sepulcher is actually really good XP rates. You add the 16x multiplier. Overall, it's going to be a pretty fast way to kind of manually level agility, and I think Woodsman just adds so much early on utility, and Woodsman then fixes your Hunter grind to 50 mil as well. So hey, thanks again so much for watching. Thank you all so much for your support. I wish you all the best of luck on your league start. Definitely leave some comments below if this helps you lock in your decision for leagues coming up tomorrow. Smash the like button if you found this helpful, and definitely subscribe for more updates. Let's hit that next goal of 750.